What's up, dudes? Max here, and it's been a little while since we've had an update from the Mortal Kombat X front, and we were kind of expecting something to pop up in terms of the PlayStation Experience event, and they didn't have anything new or official to announce, but there has been a few rumors that are interesting to talk about, as well as some new concrete information regarding the game that has kind of slipped up between interviews with the developers and stuff like that. Before we go into the rumors, let's kind of talk about what is confirmed right now to be changing in Mortal Kombat X. It appears in the final version of the game, each stage in MKX is going to have some kind of environmental interaction. We did see a little bit of this on like the Pirate Dock stage where you saw bodies fly up and you could grab the body and throw it at your opponent. We did see in the initial trailers where Scorpion and Sub-Zero are fighting that they can actually pull things off of like branches and giant pieces of wood off the trees and hit each other with it, as well as use some abilities to kind of like get out of corners. And it turns out every stage is going to be like this, so it might be somewhat similar to Injustice where you kind of like the interactions on this stage and you don't like the interactions on this other stage. They also did say things like the character select screen is not going to be the way it'll appear in the final game. It might change rather drastically, and the final roster count depends on how much they're going to actually be able to put in, how many characters they're going to finish in time. But interestingly enough, they were talking about Quan Chi and his resurrection abilities in the story of MKX, which kind of means that even though you had some characters that might have died in the MK9 story, there is a good chance that some of them could be coming back because of his resurrection abilities, so you can speculate all you want on that, but there will be some characters that you might not have expected. An interesting one that I kind of predicted would kind of be going away, and I think I talked about this early on when I first got to play MKX. I saw how the game was presented, how it's a lot more serious of a game than the previous MK games, which are kind of tongue-in-cheek. This one is extremely dark and gritty and very serious about itself, outside of a few quips and kind of weird little things that Cassie Cage does. Either way, Babalities are not going to be making a return in MKX, which makes total sense. They really don't fit in this game. But similar to what a Babality is, you don't block the entire match and you get the ability to perform it like a Fatality. Fatalities are staying, but I do think that there's going to be something else to reward the player for a feat like that. Not blocking in an entire match is all about rewarding you. Doing Fatalities is about rewarding you for winning post a match. And I think that that's kind of the entire point of Mortal Kombat, so I'm not surprised that Babalities is gone, but what Babalities represent, which is this like kind of accomplishment that you did this, is probably going to stay. Instead of it being a Babality, it's going to be something else, most likely. But as of right now, it really makes a lot of sense that something like that would not be returning. And last but not least, we're going to learn a lot more about what's involved with the story of the game around January and February, most likely get a story trailer of some kind. All I can say is that based off this information and based off the fact that we haven't seen anything from MKX since the past month or so, we're getting fairly close to the launch of this game coming up in April, leaving about kind of like 4.5 months until we see everything, and there should be quite a few more characters we're going to see in that time frame. Either way, there's going to be a lot of MKX news popping up over the next few days, and there has been a few kind of hints from Ed Boon, a couple of things that have popped up on places like IMDb, which is, especially for a pre-release version of a game or a movie, isn't exactly completely credible, but it is interesting that there is some rumors of a PlayStation exclusive character showing up for the game, and Ed Boon did kind of tease something very slightly on Twitter about Sweet Tooth, and I believe a while ago when we were talking about console exclusive characters and guest characters, Sweet Tooth was one of those that does make a lot of sense to return from the PlayStation universe into a game like Mortal Kombat. Now, in terms of some other stuff that popped up on IMDb, a huge rumor that we're actually seeing one of the existing voice actors for Kano also listed as doing the voice of ERMAC in the game, which, as we all know, has not been officially revealed at all. We did talk a little bit about ERMAC and what he could possibly be and what he could possibly look like a long time ago, but it's kind of interesting to think of this. Melina was also listed on this, and a few other characters that were already present in the game. So it's kind of interesting. This stuff is popping up. It could also be completely uncredited and not actually have a legit source, but who knows? It could have actually linked from some of their PR agencies or their agents that, hey, we did this for this character, for this game, and they might have given us a huge tip that ERMAC and Melina are going to be in the game, and I'm not surprised at all if they're going to be eventually showing up in the roster of MKX. But that's it for now. I know you guys would probably love to see something like that. In terms of the console-exclusive character, if it does end up being someone like Sweet Tooth from the Twisted Metal series, what do you guys think about that? And otherwise, we haven't gotten any other concrete news from MKX in a little while, but I will be back as soon as possible, guys, when we get the next character reaction, as well as the next character reveal, which should be fairly soon. I wouldn't be surprised if we got something before Christmas. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll be back as soon as possible with more MKX coverage. My name is Maximilian, and I'll see you next time.